Samsung is going massive with Galaxy S26 Ultra. There are a bunch of things confirmed about S26 Ultra, or almost everything is confirmed. But if you like S25 Ultra, Samsung massive deals are on which you can avail from prior listed in this video. Samsung is going to change the display on S26 Ultra. Not just bigger in size, but will going to give us some special features in it. I'll share even the first look of S26 Ultra later, but right now, the new display feature for S26 Ultra is out. You guys may have used Privacy Protector or saw them. Samsung going to give us same feature without any protector on S26 Ultra, and it is confirmed. In One UI 8.5, we got this feature and shared by Twitter user, and there are a bunch of things we can talk about. By default, this feature will be enabled and you can turn it off, and additionally you can even customize the conditions, meaning when the condition meets your privacy display will automatically turn on. The feature will quite helpful in public areas, even more helpful if you're using your banking apps in public, or even messaging your closed ones or using your gallery. This feature got you covered from all areas. You can even explore more settings inside a privacy display, and there is another settings, maximum privacy. It will lower the brightness level to make it even harder to see the content shown on the display for the other person. By the way, if you like S25 Ultra, Samsung massive deals are on which you can avail from prior listed in this video. We got another camera update today about the S26 Ultra, and I'll share details later, but recently a user on Twitter confirmed Samsung S26 entire series selfie shooter. Yes, according to the source, Samsung is not going to change the selfie shooter. It will be same 12 megapixel on all models. Seems like Samsung is not interested in updating the cameras on S26 Ultra. Now, let's see the detailed camera info of the S26 Ultra. Samsung is ready for big changes this year with the design of S26 Ultra. We're going back to older design, but in between these things, we just got more information about the cameras of S26 Ultra. Now, iPhone 17 Pro Max just launched with some useful updates, quite honestly, but S26 Ultra is actually getting a downgrade in terms of cameras. Yes, a shocker for everyone, including me. According to Ice Universe, another news. I've been afraid to tell you, I'm worried that you are angry. Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra's new 3x sensor is actually degraded, with only 10 megapixel f2.4 1/3.941 micron pixels. It is smaller than the current S25 Ultra IMX754. Well, yes, he is right. This is the difference between S25 Ultra and S26 Ultra 3x telephoto sensor. It's smaller on S26 Ultra compared to S25 Ultra, and even more interesting thing, Samsung actually going to add S25 base model 3x telephoto sensor in S26 Ultra. I mean, is that real? I think maybe this information is not completely right, even though ICE gave accurate information, but I don't think Samsung will going to make such a big mistake with the S26 Ultra. Samsung is going to change the design, and we got the first look of it. Thanks to trusted source, we just got the first set of official look of Galaxy S26 Ultra, and even they shared the video of the S26 Ultra, showcasing all sides of S26 Ultra. Android headline shared this video of the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and there are a bunch of things we need to talk about. First, the display is completely flat like the S25 Ultra, but the sides are slightly rounded to make a better feel in hand. From both front and back, the buttons are having the same location. Now, if you look at the back, things are looking different. First, the camera design is changed and it looks like the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, interesting thing, the camera housing is new, but the cameras are even got their own bump outside of the camera housing, which is another thing, or a camera island in other words. Since Samsung is making a slimmer phone, we have to compromise on thicker camera bump, as the Galaxy S26 Ultra will going to get a 7.9mm thickness, and this thing will surely wobble on a flat surface. Else, the other two cameras are not flashes outside of the camera island. The sides are flat and slightly rounded at the end to make a better feel in hand, and the corners are rounded. This phone is overall more rounded compared to the S25 Ultra and way too rounded compared to the S24 Ultra. The debate about Exynos and Snapdragon is about to an end since we got an info. There are two major updates we got this time around the S26 Ultra, and one of that update is quite helpful for people who are looking to buy the S26 Ultra. We heard initially Samsung will be adding Exynos 2600 in S26 Ultra, and that news was not confirmed, but now a Korean media confirmed information about the Exynos 2600. According to Korean media, Samsung will be adding Exynos 2600 in Galaxy S26 base model. which will be named as Galaxy S26 Pro. And they didn't mention Galaxy S26 Ultra at all, which is a great news. Because in contrast with this info, Qualcomm already claimed at the launch of Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is that Samsung will be using this processor for their phones, which means a good news, S26 Ultra will be featuring Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and base model will getting Exynos 2600, as the early production is already started and they saw some massive gains and a better yield with it. About 12% performance improvements and about 25% power efficiency improvements. In addition to this info, Samsung will be adding the 16 gigs of RAM option in S26 Ultra. And as per source, there is no 12 gigs, only 16 gigs on S26 Ultra and up to 1 TB of storage. Apart from privacy display and new processor, the display itself is getting an update. Samsung used similar panels of previous Galaxy devices but added the anti-reflective coating. But on S26 Ultra, Samsung will going to change the whole dynamics for a smartphone display. I should never share the detailed information, but the conclusion is the 2K Samsung Everest display combines LED OLED technology and M14 material to redefine efficiency and lifespan, while pushing brightness to new extremes with 6000 nits local peak brightness and 2600 nits full screen brightness. Add in 144Hz refresh rate, 3200Hz instant touch, 8T LTPO and ultra low motion blur, and you can get a screen that's smoother, sharper and more responsive than ever, with the wide gamut color and full spectrum eye protection. It's not only a spec sheet champ, but also a real tangible upgrade in outdoor readability, gaming performance and long-term comfort. In short, one of the most powerful and well-rounded smartphone displays the industry has ever seen. This is a great news about the Galaxy S26 Ultra. The display update could be the only reason to go for the S26 Ultra, and things didn't stop here. Samsung is also going to add privacy feature in the Galaxy S26 Ultra. The design is about to get changed on S26 Ultra, the rounded corners and more, and since Samsung is changing design, we can see a change in S Pen. Well, don't worry, it's not going anywhere, as some previous sources do suggest no S Pen for next year. Now I should never share this image. Coding. The top shape of the S Pen for the Galaxy S26 Ultra is like this. This is because Samsung is going to make rounded corners for the S26 Ultra. The tip of the S Pen will be changed, and I believe it will be completely flat from the corners, which is a good design. This change is because of a change in the corners, but if you are thinking about the Bluetooth S Pen, well, according to my internal source who shared this information a while ago, there's one prototype of S26 Ultra who has a Bluetooth S Pen, but it is not coming at the end. So no Bluetooth feature on S26 Ultra S Pen. There's another source who listed out the updates on the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and it seems like changes are coming, where he stated a 60 watt fast charging, but the battery will be same as 5000 mAh. A new display technology which will come with some big surprises. 7.9mm thickness and a 16 gigs of RAM option. This means there's no 12 gigs, only 16 gigs will be available for Galaxy S26 Ultra. Even he stated cameras, which I shared in details before, that Samsung will stick with the similar cameras. Also, he mentioned the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. Yes, this will be the new processor for the S26 Ultra. Some do suggest Exynos 2600, but let's hope it shouldn't happen. As Qualcomm claims, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is one of the most powerful processor for next year's smartphones, and they mentioned Samsung will be using this processor for next year, which means S26 Ultra. On this note, if you're still here, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Until then, peace out.